prom night.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, definitely.
Missouri has the lead and then just gives up 22 points in the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job.
Yeah, you know how it is.
I think Central Michigan might be worse than everyone thinks because Buffalo stomped them out.
Yeah, because I got a lot I got to say about Buffalo. Because, I'm not smiling like that proud dad right now. Like, I'm
Dude,
really not.
well,
They were bad.
they just did fucking Denver just scored a touchdown? No,
Did
first
they?
down. First down. It's first and what is it? First and goal.
Did the Jets score? Because I saw they were in the red zone.
Field goal.
Okay, okay. All right, man. You ready?
Yep. All right.
Out.
Yep. I'll count you in. Five, four, three, two, one, go.
It's Monday, October 9th, 2023. It's the start of another week. I hope the start of your week is off to a great start. I hope your weekend is off to a great. I hope your weekend was great to you as well. Happy Monday. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like saying that, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you guys are going to listen to this content, I'm back. It's another episode of the Daily Blitz's first official podcast entitled Monday Evening Quarterback. My name is Christian Simpson, and I'm the creator, I'm the founder, I'm the NFL and college football analyst of a brand called the Daily Blitz, where we specialize in all things football 24/7, 365. And I have another jam packed show for you today. We're going to talk what caught our eye in college football. The Red River Showdown took place, and it was the final one in the Big 12 because both Oklahoma and Texas are both moving to the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, next fall. Notre Dame goes down again, and I got a lot to say about them. Colorado play Arizona State, Alabama and Texas A&M. We're going to get into what caught our eye in the NFL. We're going to go to the phone lines. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to throw a little preview of Monday Night Football. Not necessarily the sexiest matchup on the docket, but it's the Green Bay Packers and the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas tonight in the Black Hole. And I'm going to promote how you guys can keep up with me. I'm going to promote how you can listen to every show I contribute for through the airwaves and all that fun stuff. But as usual, I am not alone. The real star of the show, as always, joins me, my producer and my co-host, Mr. RK himself, Mr. Nerdport Network himself. Ronnie, what's going on?
Yeah, same old shit, different day.
I hear that, man. Different, same fight, different round. That's what I normally say. So it's week 6. Well, week 6 of college football is officially in the books. Where do we get started? Because it was a pretty entertaining week.
Red River. We got to start with Red River.
Oh, absolutely. Look,
Red
game
River
day.
Shootout, not the Red
Look,
River rivalry. Red River Shootout.
yeah, look, game day was there. I previewed it on the site. Both teams came in undefeated. Oklahoma was 5-0, and so was Texas. A lot of people were saying that Texas was possibly the best team in college football, right? Um, Remember this game last year when they played in 2022? Texas punched Oklahoma in the mouth. I don't think it wasn't close at all. Texas won this game by a score of 49-0. So you can't sit here and tell me that the Oklahoma players didn't have that loss in the back of their head coming into this game.
Oh yeah, they had to.
But here's the difference. You know how when we were talking a few episodes ago with the Texas Longhorns and the Alabama Crimson Tide, and you remember how we kept hearing people say we should be talking about Texas beating Alabama 2 years in a row, and what if Quint Ewers doesn't go down? Remember that?
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, Oklahoma's quarterback, he didn't play last year
No.
in the Red River Shootout. Um, he was there yesterday, and you saw the difference he made. I have the numbers right here. Oklahoma did win this game by a score of 34-30. It came down to the fourth quarter, like I knew it would. Dylan Gabriel was 23 of 38, 285 yards and one touchdown pass. And Dylan Gabriel was also the leading rusher, Ronnie. 14 carries, 113 yards, and one touchdown. And here's the thing, we say it all the time. When you're playing man coverage, you have to account for every man on the perimeter, right? Not only that, you got to account for the running back, and most importantly, you have to account for the quarterback as well. And Texas didn't do that. And Dylan Gabriel, I think, ran the same play all 14 carries, and Texas couldn't stop it. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Um, for from a receiving standpoint, Jalil Farouk, 5 receptions, 130 yards, and I always say you can catch the ball all you want, right? You it hits you in the hands, great, but what are you gonna do with it once the ball is in your hands? I'm talking about yak yards after the catch. And I mean, every time he had the ball, he was so slippery and so buttery in space. Drake Stoops was the second leading receiver with 55 yards receiving. And that last name, I think, sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yep.
Because Bob Stoops, the former head coach of Oklahoma, that's his son. Um, on the Texas side, Quinn Ewers, the numbers don't look bad minus the 2 interceptions. He was 31 to 37, so he showed some accuracy. 346 yards, the one touchdown, and the 2 interceptions. Now, that first interception was all on Quinn because he didn't see that Oklahoma defensive back, excuse me, coming in and cutting the route off and just pretty much getting in front of the intended receiver. The second one, I can't put that one on Quinn. He placed that ball perfectly, and it's not Quinn's fault that his tight end, Jatavian Sanders, couldn't catch the ball. The ball ricocheted off his hands. He got absolutely drilled, and then it lands in the hands of an Oklahoma defender. But after that, what do I always say? You got to be able to turn the page in this game, right? No matter what level you play at, you got to put the bad play behind you and just look ahead. And that's what Quinn did because he was in check in the zone for most of this game. Looking at the other numbers, Jonathan Brooks was the leading rusher. 22 carries, 129 yards. He was actually my X factor for Texas coming into this game. And Jordan Whittington was Texas leading receiver, 10 receptions, 115 yards. Xavier Worthy, who I think is one of the best wide receivers in college football, and I don't think he gets enough respect. 8 receptions, 108 yards, and Gunnar Helm caught that one touchdown. Now, let's talk about that touchdown that Gunnar caught, because just a perfect execution of fooling a defense. Because who was the defense zoomed in on? Jonathan Brooks, right? The box was loaded and everything, and no one accounted for Gunnar Helm, and he snuck behind the coverage, and he couldn't have been more wide open.
No,
Um,
couldn't. Really couldn't.
nah, he had green pastures ahead. um, Other than that, honestly, this is the second best football game I previewed this year, next to Ohio State and Notre Dame. Compared to what we got last year, you just saw a hell of an effort from Oklahoma, just being able to move the ball up and down the field. Their defense showed up and made one more play when it mattered most. The one issue I have was the end of the game. Steve Sarkisian, or Sark as he's known as, kicks the field goal, and Texas is up 30-27, right? Oklahoma has to work down the field. And Ronnie, now you see why I've texted this to you. I've told you this on the Nerd Zone, and I've told you this off the microphone when we talk. Now you understand why I hate prevent defense, right?
Oh yeah, well there's no you prevent defense is horrible.
Yeah, because it still leaves a crease in the coverage, and a receiver can find that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dylan Gabriel works down the field, and Nick Anderson His only catch of the game catches a 3-yard touchdown to put Oklahoma ahead. Oklahoma wins the game by a score of 34-30, as I just mentioned. Who do you think is in better shape right now following this game? Oklahoma or Texas? And I have a feeling we're going to probably see these two in the Big 12 title game. Who would you give the edge to in that one?
I mean, right now it looks like I would probably give it to Texas because now they know what to expect.
Okay.
So it's the chess game. It's does Oklahoma get help right now to run the table and be a one-loss non-Big 12 team in the title game and Texas win, or does Texas just completely get bumped out in the Big 12 title game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I hope we get that matchup, and if it's anything like what we saw yesterday, I think we're gonna be in for it. These two are gonna still play in the SEC, right?
Yeah. As of
Okay.
right right now, yes, I believe so.
Okay. All right. Cool. Because I think this is one of the best rivalries in all of college football.
You know what? As much as like Oklahoma State said they're not play, it's still in their home stadium. I think the reason that they're gonna let this play, it's got a sponsor behind Allstate.
What, the Red River?
Yeah, which by the way, kind of makes me upset that they put money behind. The way they put money behind that kind of just makes it look like I'm like, really? It's kind of bad.
Yeah, but the issue I had with the final couple of plays in the game, besides Texas playing the prevent defense, Sark, like I said, coached to go into overtime. Brent Venables coached to win the game. That was the difference. It was almost like X's and O's or apples and oranges. Oh man, like if a replay of this game were to come on, I'd sit down and watch this all over again. That's how much I enjoyed that one. Getting some other numbers up, just looking at some of the other games on the slate for Saturday. Let's just get this one out the way because there's really not a lot to say. But, remember what I told you? I was a little concerned about Texas. I mean, not Texas, about Georgia coming into their next game against
Yeah, they kind of laughed at everybody's face.
I mean, Auburn gave them all they could handle, and what did we see? We saw Auburn run the football down Georgia's throat. And remember, this is a younger Georgia team now. And I thought Kentucky was gonna, kind of use that same game plan, run the football. Georgia just punched Kentucky in the mouth. This may be the best I think I've seen Georgia look all year. They win the game 51-13. I'll say this about the young quarterback, Carson Beck. He grew up last week in Jordan Hare, okay? 28-35, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the 1 interception yesterday. And you already know who the leading receiver was for Georgia. Do I even need to tell you?
No, it's the big man that's going to be the first tight end taken out of the goddamn draft.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. He was 7 receptions for 132 yards and the 1 touchdown. And Georgia's defense came to play. Dumas Johnson had 1.5 sacks. They were just flying around to the ball. Georgia's winning streak continues. I honestly really see this team cruising again until championship Saturday.
Yeah. Well, what do they have left?
I can look that up. Let's see what they have left. Okay, so
I think they still have to play TCU.
So they have Vanderbilt.
That's a win.
Vandy. They have Florida. Then they play Missouri. Then they play Ole Miss. Then they go to Tennessee. And then they end the year with good old-fashioned clean hate. That's Georgia Tech.
So the only game that I can see being a problem is the cocktail party and at Rocky Top.
Yeah, because Florida, they're going to get up for that game if they have all the amount of right players on the field.
Huh.
Tennessee, A lot of people thought Tennessee was going to play them tough last year with Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt, and they got punched in the mouth right there.
Yeah, but that was in the hedge.
That was in Athens. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was in a doghouse. And then Georgia Tech is going to be a scrimmage.
I mean,
uh,
unless they decide to play like they did against Miami, who knows?
who? Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Can we? That's excellent segue. Because Georgia Tech, they were gifted a game yesterday. They were gifted a game on Saturday night against the U.
Oh yeah.
And here I am thinking the Miami Hurricanes are turning the page, right? And maybe they can make a little run. But look, Ronnie, I played and you played. When you have the lead, what are the two things that you have to? Well, really, the three things that you have to do. One,
Protect the ball,
protect the ball,
run the clock,
run the clock,
and just get first downs.
and when time is with you and it's on your side, you kneel the ball, right? You just take the knee.
Especially with no timeouts.
Especially with no timeouts. And they didn't do that. They tried running the football. The running back loses the ball running in between the tackles. And Georgia Tech recovers they recover the fumble, right? And they drive the ball down the field and they score. And they come back to win the game 23-20.
If you wanted to run the ball, that's fine. Run it outside. Why would you run it in between with all that clutter in between the tackles where some hand could come in?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just horrible coaching.
Run that ball to the sideline and just go down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just horrible coaching on their part. Seriously. Someone joked around and said Mario Cristobal should have lost his job like Herm Edwards did. You remember when they walked on the field?
Yeah.
and
listen, that should be a fireable offense.
Yeah, because you had that game won. You had that game won
going. You had a chance to go 5-0 going into your next game, which was
North Carolina.
Which is that's a straight look ahead.
Yeah.
You could have you should have beaten Georgia Tech soundly, but you looked ahead to UNC at Chapel Hill.
Yep, and I always say it. Focus on what's in front of you at that moment, because who you're looking ahead to, they're still going to be there, whether you win or whether you lose the game. And to be honest with you, this can really take the life out of you moving forward. Like, man, Miami was playing well with confidence, because the last time I saw the Hurricanes play, it was against Texas A&M in week 2, and they punched the Aggies in the mouth, who we're about to get into, because I got some things I got to say about that game. But yeah, that's just a horrible loss, and I hope Mario Cristobal is kicking himself right now, because you can't lose a game like that in that fashion.
Well, all it's doing now too is just starting to file people away for the ACC standings for the title
because
game.
didn't we just say on the Nerd Zone last week that Miami could be a potential dark horse to get to the ACC title game? Remember we were just talking about that?
I mean, you know what? The only thing that helps them right now is the fact that they have to play Louisville, Florida State, and North Carolina the rest of the way.
Okay. Wow, you're good. You're just rolling with the segues today on this beautiful Monday. Louisville.
Kick the Irish in the fucking mouth.
They played Notre Dame. And, Notre Dame's kind of been on thin ice the last 3 games. You saw what they did against Ohio State. And if I'm being realistic here, they should have lost to Duke.
Yeah.
Right? But Audric Estime, he was able to bail them out.
Notre Dame should have 3 losses right now.
Who else do you think they should have lost to?
Well, they should have lost to Ohio State.
Yeah.
They should have lost to Duke, and then
Oh, so you agree with me? You think they
oh
should have?
oh yeah, I think was the better team. I think Duke had their number. Duke should have 3 losses right now, not 2. Granted,
Mm,
now Notre Dame can see their way out of the Heisman and title picture. Goodbye.
yeah, because look, I'm thinking Sam Hartman was really gonna elevate this entire team, and to be honest, he hasn't. Yeah, he looked good against less than quality opponents, but listen to these numbers from Saturday night: 22 of 38, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
The 3 interceptions, you got to take care of the ball. If you don't take care of the ball, you're not going to win football games.
Oh, okay. So we actually have a new Heisman leader,
Who is it?
Michael Penix.
Yeah, he's been balling out. So where's Caleb on those rankings?
Is second. So Michael Penix is plus 220. Caleb, it's all Pac-12 teams. Ironically, because the team the one that's going to get disbanded has got 3 of the best quarterbacks.
So
Penix and Caleb at 2.5 to 1, and Bo Nix at 420.
Yeah.
And then Dylan Gabriel, and then Drake May.
So wow. So where's Quinn Ewers?
Quinn Ewers is 30 to 1.
Wow. Notre Dame couldn't get that running game going.
Nope. Marvin Harrison is over him at 28.
Okay. Audric Estime was 10 carries for 20 yards. That ain't gonna cut it.
No.
You got to establish your best player, right? Yeah, Louisville got up for this game. You could tell. And they won by a score of 33 to 20. Jack Plummer. Now, is that Jake Plummer's son?
Yes, it is.
God, that makes me feel old. My dog says the same thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
I didn't need you agreeing that I was old. Yeah. Not necessarily. I mean, the numbers weren't eye-popping, but he did enough to win this game. He was, just looking at the numbers right here. He was 17 to 24 for, I just had it up. There we go. He was 17 to 24, 145 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Jahar Jordan, 21 carries, 143 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. So Louisville ran the football down Notre Dame's throat until they could stop it, as my man David On Point from the Prime would say. And Notre Dame just gave a big middle finger to my schedule this week. You realize that, Ronnie?
Oh, boy.
I mean, I get Notre Dame is still ranked when we get to the top 25, but I don't know. It just kind of lost the luster of the game. Yeah, it's a rivalry game. USC, Notre Dame. I got a decision to make. Do I preview USC, Notre Dame, or do I try to preview something else? Because I already know the 2 college games I'm previewing. The schedule's really been making themselves the last couple. The NFL next week, the slate isn't as eye-popping as it's been. But, yeah, I just got to go back to the drawing board. I got to go back, to the office and just see what it is that I'm going to preview. What else caught your eye with Notre Dame and Louisville? Anything?
Not really. I mean, the game was pretty much exactly how it mapped out, how I thought it was going to be. I did not think Notre Dame was going to come in here and just take over.
Because they're not that type of team. I don't know. I guess I can apply this saying with Notre Dame like I do the Dallas Cowboys. There's no in between with them. When they're good, they're really good. But when they're bad, they really struggle.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now, another game, I was able to preview this. Alabama, Texas A&M. Now, this was pretty much for the SEC West. Winner of this game was going to be in tremendous shape, and they were probably going to go on to win the division. Um, I don't know what it is, but the Aggies and Jimbo, they always find a way to play Alabama hard. Remember, they beat them a couple years ago in College Station in Texas. Could have beat them last year. And that's the first time we saw Jalen Milroe because Bryce Young got hurt last season. And I remember Alabama winning that game 24-20. This game, I knew it was going to be a blowout or a takeover, like what you just said with Notre Dame, because this is a game where Alabama really has to earn everything.
And Bama handled their business.
Yeah, Bama handled their business, but it didn't look the greatest.
No.
You know, Jalen Milroe was 21-33, 321 yards passing.
It was ugly. The game was ugly.
Yeah, and he threw that one interception, and Alabama really couldn't get the running game going, which I kind of figured as much because Texas A&M has been one of the best when it comes to running the ball. But McClellan was held to 45 yards rushing. Guess how many yards Jalen Milroe had rushing?
How many?
-31.
Oof.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Jermaine Burton is really establishing himself as wide receiver 1 for the Crimson Tide. 9 receptions, 197 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I'll say this. Alabama's receivers don't scare me like they used to. You know, Jerry Jeudy, Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith. They ain't walking through that door.
No.
Right? On the Texas A&M side, Max Johnson, yes, that name must sound familiar because he was the quarterback for LSU. 14-25, 239 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Alabama wins the game 26-20. I picked Alabama to win this game because I don't trust Texas A&M in these types of situations. Let's just call it what it is. Anything else you want to add to this game, Ronnie, and anything else you want to add to college football before we go to these phone lines?
Yeah, we got to talk about something that me and you have been on since the opening, and it's actually out in the Mountain West. The fact that Wyoming had Fresno State come into them as a 3-point favorite, and they were a 3-point home dog, Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let the score fool you. It was 24-19 was the final. It was 24-7 going into halftime as right at halftime. The game, Wyoming hit them so hard in the freaking mouth that Wyoming beat them. Like the fact that this game is even remotely close shocks me. But Wyoming handled their business and took out the 24th team in the nation. And they're 5-1 now.
You love Wyoming and you love Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, also that's one of the teams. Guess who used to be the quarterback of Wyoming?
Yeah, a guy that now plays for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, we'll get to him because he should.
Oh yeah, because you know
he should have been a freaking Jet too.
I got it. Oh, is that why you don't like him?
I don't like the fact that the coaching staff. I really thought he should have been a freaking Jet because he was better than Sam Darnold.
I mean, that's not saying much.
No, but that was the thing. He was in that draft class, so.
Yeah, I mean that's not my left pinky toe is better than Josh.
That's why there's a legendary rant from that on YouTube during the draft.
Oh god, yeah, I remember that too. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Josh's name because I got a lot to say.
Yeah,
I really do. You want to give us?
Well, I was gonna say who's your player of the week, and then I'll do mine.
Man, I'm giving this to Dylan Gabriel. Like he really balled out. He really balled out in the Red River rivalry. Really was the difference maker, I feel, because who's to say he plays last year and it's not the results that it was last season. He was 23-38, 285 yards passing. And he accounted for 2 touchdowns. He ran for 1 and then he threw for 1, but he was just in such great control of the game. Oklahoma defense came ready to play, and Brent Venables has his team headed in the right direction. we're gonna see these two again, like I said, in the Big 12 championship game on Championship Saturday, and I can't wait. I'm really excited. Like I already see myself previewing it. Seriously, I could
Yeah.
see game day going back down there to because the Big 12 title games at Jerry World. Um, yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna see these two again. All right, Ronnie, the floor is yours.
Yep. So, like Christian, he gives the player of the week. I give the trash bag of the week. So I flip to the other side. Pretty much the what the hell are you doing? Get your shit and get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to kick it off. I got a couple. So we're going to kick it off first. We're going to Colorado. And Shador Sanders is getting my first one. Colorado, you win. You beat Arizona State by a game-winning field goal. Walk-off field goal. Shador Sanders did not play well. I think he had under 150 passing yards. What's the first thing he does? No, sorry. He went 239 with a touchdown. But he had like 26 of 42, which is awful. What's the first thing he does? Walks over to the student section of Arizona State with a watch on and does the prime time, the prime time, the prime symbol. Like the
Oh, where like he's flexing and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You beat Arizona State, who hasn't been relevant since Herman Edwards has been there. Not saying much. You haven't been relevant since Arizona State has not been relevant since they beat Michigan State 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're going to flex on a game-winning field goal when the spread had it 4. Vegas had you at 4. You should have won by 4D. And you barely got out of there with a win. Maybe it's not time to start flexing on that.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dion probably talked to him. We don't know what's going on.
He's done this multiple times. When they were winning, everyone was cool with it. Do you hear no one talking about it now when they're just winning? When they're just getting by.
And I remember after the Oregon game, one of Oregon's players trolled him and did it. And everybody saying he's wrong. The Oregon player was wrong. I'm like, nah, this is sports. Like, if he can troll, he can be trolled. Remember, we had this discussion. We had this discussion earlier in the year with another sport, with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
And I even had an issue with the ring, because it's like, you didn't, as much as you trolled, you did it in her. I think the difference is one was he's on the field. He's not doing it to a player. He's doing it to the fan base, which is still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She did it to Caitlin's face.
Nah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with her trolling. I had a problem.
No, exactly. It's we both agreed on it.
She trolled too excessively.
Yes.
Because she followed her. Caitlin wasn't following people.
No.
That was the issue.
That's like the Jordan 6 fingers, like.
Yeah. Or I remember Chris Paul doing a shimmy to Steph Curry in the playoffs.
That's also Jordan when he hit the what was it, the threes, the consecutive threes, and just did I don't know.
Shrug.
The shrug. He didn't do it excessively to anybody. He just screw it, okay.
Right, because like I was saying, when CP3 did the little shimmy that Steph does, he did it in front of Steph. Because look, as much as I love Steph Curry, Steph has been excessive, and he's done it in front of benches. And he wouldn't get away with that.
No.
90s or the early 2000s. Chris did it in front of him, and Steph even said, "Look, I've done it." So he has that right to do it.
Yeah, but the difference is like you're doing it to a fan base. Like not even a fan base. You're doing it to the students
who you don't know personally.
Yeah, it's not like you. And also, they're in Arizona State again. You just barely beat them. It wasn't like you were dominant. But yet when Oregon destroyed you, your head was in your hands, looking depressed. You got stumped out. What is it? Like it's both sides of the coin. Either you're really happy or you are literally down in the dumps. Because you've done it more than once. When he took his helmet off the field against was it Colorado? No,
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska, and they said it's personal. You are making bulletin board material.
Yeah, exactly.
Any fan that sees this, guess what? Next road game you play, the fans have seen this. They coming in hot.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. For my second
Yep.
For my second bag, I have to give it to the offense and the coaching staff of the Miami Hurricanes.
I can't disagree with you.
How do you not kneel the ball?
Kneel the ball.
Or run it to
Seriously.
the outside. Or run it to the outside.
Kneel the ball. It's not that difficult.
No.
Because did Georgia Tech have any timeouts?
No. No.
Oh, God, that makes this even worse.
Yeah, that makes it worse. They ran the ball with 42 seconds left on the clock. It wasn't even fourth down. It was third down. You could have just passed the ball to the right, let the guy go, and then just, oh, all right, I go down. Game over.
Yeah.
But you gave the team a chance. And final one, and we will talk about this when we come back from the break. The referees of the London game.
Yeah. That's a good segue. We're going to end that right there. That's all we have for the college game. We're going to go to the phone lines right now and enjoy the music. We'll be back because when we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit of NFL. This is Monday Evening Quarterback on Spotify, YouTube, Blog Talk Radio, Twitch, and the Nerdport Network. Hashtag Daily Blitz Radio. Please like, share, and subscribe.
All right, break. All right, we can.
All right.
You need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, I'll go get a drink and all that fun stuff.
All right, I will run a quick little ad.
All right, man. All
Go.
right,
Yep. Go.
Yep,
You're
yep.
good. Oh God. We will be right back, guys.
Okay.
I had to make sure the mics weren't hot.
Yeah,
So, my Dolphins ticket cashed.
Did it?
Dude, I had I had Tua over 275 and a half passing yards.
How many did he get?
I think 290.
Mm-hmm.
I had or 287. No, yeah, I had 287 and he had like almost 300. Then I had Achan to score a touchdown and over 50 and a half yards rushing yards.
Man, he's the spark plug to that offense.
Bro, he had that in one rush.
I'm gonna tell you who he reminds me of when we start recording back.
It was ridiculous. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, Mostert doesn't practice. I'm like, he has to. You would think Mostert has to not be getting the full amount of carries. And I was right.
Exactly. Yep.
What did Tua?
All right, man, you ready?
What did Tua actually pass for? Let me check this real quick.
I think 290.
No, 308.
Oh wow! Oh, so he bounced back.
Yeah, he was 22 for 30, 308, and he averaged like 10 yards, 2 picks, and 2 touchdowns. Achan, 11 carries, 151 yards.
Wow.
By the way, Mostert didn't have a shit day either. 10 for 65.
Wow.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, 8 for 181.
Yeah, I gotta mention something about the Cowboys from about the Giants from my one coworker. But yeah, so all right, you ready?
Yep. And
right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Man, I love my phone callers so very much. Welcome back to Monday Evening Quarterback. As always, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast or subscribe to the site, which is the dailyblitz.blog. And anytime I post the episodes, you'll get them directly to your inbox. Just thought I'd put that out there. Then I'll promote that again at the end of the show. Like I always say around this time, you are probably listening to those phone callers and you're saying, oh man, I want to do that. Of course you can. The doors of MEQ are always open. Let me know or email me, c.simpson@thedailyblitz.blog, and we will set it up, or I'll reach out to you, or you reach out to me, vice versa. Either way, I'll make sure we get it done. We're about to talk NFL, but before we discuss anything that happened in the NFL today, I have to discuss something, and I think you'll be on board with this. Last Thursday, the NFL lost a trailblazer.
Yep.
Dick Butkus. He passed away at the age of 81, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check.
I believe you're right. I believe it was 81.
I'm just gonna check. Let's see, because I like just making sure. He was 80.
Okay.
So I wasn't too far off. Having lived in Chicago, in Illinois, you remember I told you last week when we were recording, Bears fans are the most passionate sports fans I've ever been around. Like, win, lose, or draw, record is not that great, or the record is one of the best in the league, those fans are going to be there. I mean, I remember being out there in 2006 when they get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they lost against the Indianapolis Colts, but everybody was just so in sync with the Bears. Some of the best players in NFL history have played for the Chicago Bears. Gale Sayers, Mike Singletary, Walter Payton, who I think is the greatest Chicago Bear ever. And you can't forget Dick Buckus. He was the quintessential middle linebacker. He was the most intimidating middle linebacker of his time. And because of him, he opened the door for a whole bunch of other middle linebackers who will end up becoming all-time greats and all have gold jackets now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm talking about Jack Lambert. I'm talking about fellow Bear, Mike Singletary. I'm talking about the late Junior Seau, God rest his soul, and the guy who I think is the greatest middle linebacker that I've seen, Ray Lewis. I almost got up and hit the dance, Ronnie. But yeah, this is tough because earlier in the year, the NFL lost Jim Brown, and then we lost Dick Buckus, and I'll even take it back to December last year. Franco Harris passed away.
Yeah.
Like a couple of days before the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. Thoughts just go out to his family, those who played with him, those who got the chance to know him, and the Chicago Bears organization, for sure. Anything you want to add?
No, you pretty much said it all. I mean, he's a legend. He was a legend. He was part of legendary teams, and yeah, it's just sad we lost another one.
Yeah, it really is, but legends don't die. Heroes are always remembered. Yeah, RIP to Dick Buckus. I just thought, it'd be appropriate to start off with that before we got into anything else NFL. But all right, now that that was said, week 5 of the NFL, can you believe it? It just seems like the season just started the other day. Like, it just seems like you and I were gearing up for the first episode of MEQ, and we were talking about the Lions and Chiefs, and now we're 5 weeks in.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I don't know about you, but with me, football season takes forever to get here, and then when it gets here,
it's way too quick.
It goes by so quickly, right?
That's like college for me. As much as the NFL it's college for me. The fact that people have already qualified for bowl games in college.
Yeah. Okay. So, what caught your eye in week 5 of the NFL, Ronnie?
Well, I mean, let's talk about what we left off before we took the phone calls. My trash bag of the week: the officiating for the Buffalo Bills game.
Explain it to the people.
Well, the first one I gotta say is how are you calling helmet to helmet on Josh Allen when it is a straight up hit? Like, oh, he hit his face mask. I'm sorry, when you're hitting chest to chest with somebody, your helmet will come up and hit the face mask. That shouldn't be helmet to helmet. He's not a defenseless player anymore. He ducked and covered the ball. Like, I'll pull up the game. Like, I want to see how many actual penalties were called. Because it seemed like offensive pass interference here. There was there was so many penalties in this game. They just didn't let them play. And that doesn't mean Buffalo was going to win. I think Jacksonville still had them beat because Jacksonville was also over there a week prior. They had their rest. They got used to the time change, unlike Buffalo.
Yeah, and it just always seems like Jacksonville always plays Buffalo really tough because I remember when these two met back in 2021. It was a defensive struggle, and Jacksonville kept a pretty good Buffalo offense out the end zone and held them to 6 points.
All right, I got the stat. I got it right now. There was a total of 19 penalties. 8 for Jacksonville for 56 yards, and 11 for Buffalo for 109.
Interesting.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that was a little
my problem with Buffalo in this game, it's two things. One, they reverted to their old style of football. Right? Not committing to the run. When you play a physical team, and Buffalo's been very physical this year, right? When you play a physical team, the best way to beat them is to punch them back in the mouth. And that's what Jacksonville did, right?
Did Von Miller play?
He was back, but
I'm
someone
saying,
told me he was back.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he played.
he
Yeah, he played.
okay, I was gonna say he was on the roster. He was on the practice list that he practiced all week. I didn't know. I didn't really see. He really didn't be wasn't seen.
Yeah, nah, he played. I didn't expect him to be back this soon. I was
Uh,
thinking he was going to be
yeah.
bad, but Josh Allen didn't have a bad game. He was 27 of 40 for 359 yards and 2 touchdowns with a 1 interception. But guess who the leading rusher was for the Bills?
Josh Allen
It was
for four for 14.
4 for 14. And James Cook was 5 carries for -4 yards.
Yep.
So Jacksonville, it seems like Jacksonville just bottled up that run and put the game in the hands of Josh Allen. Yeah, I don't want to say he did too much, but it just sounds like the complimentary players really didn't step up for the Bills. I mean, Stephon Diggs did what he does.
Gabe Davis is a rookie, right?
Nah, this is like his third or fourth year, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, he's not a rookie. Remember, he had that huge game in the playoffs
2020. Okay, this is
in
third season.
2021.
This is the
So,
third season.
yeah. Yeah, Diggs and Davis each had over 100 yards.
Yep.
Well,
And
Davis had 100 yards on the money, on the dot,
yep.
and
Well,
Diggs had
the
121.
big thing is Davis is gone 4 games in a row with a touchdown.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying Buffalo should go out and get a second receiver to play alongside Stephon Diggs. I'm like, why? When they have one.
Well, I mean, they have one, but at the same time, is now Miami, like, oh, just flip it. We'll say on this game, but we'll flip it. Miami picking up Cole Kmet with that receiving core. You just overloaded another.
You mean Chase Claypool?
Claypool, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Claypool. You should, if you're Buffalo, you kind of should have gone out and get yourself someone like him when he was out there.
No, Kansas City should have went.
I agree with that, but I'm saying the fact that Miami got him,
that's
terrifying now.
Yeah, because now I think you can use Jalen Waddle more in the slot and then have Chase Claypool wide on the perimeter.
You can run slants with Waddle and Hill and have Claypool take the top off.
Yeah, and I think Claypool is going to benefit being around those two. Like,
who you going to guard? I mean, listen, I'm not saying Miami. I think Miami right now is the top team to win the division. As much as you like Buffalo, I think Miami right now is the top dog, especially with that receiving. That defense looks better than it's ever been, and I hate Miami. I'm a Jet fan, and if I'm saying this, what does that tell you?
But does it? Okay, yeah, they look good against the Giants, but remember, a week after scoring 70, they give up 48 to Buffalo. Like, can it be consistent? That's the thing, because they're not physical. They're a finesse football team.
Right, but I'm saying look who they, other than in their division, who really would they have to play?
Yeah, I think, look, the division's coming down to Buffalo and Miami.
I agree with that.
There's
one's getting the two, probably like the 2-3 seed. I don't think they're gonna get the 1. I think really you're looking at someone else getting the 1. Maybe Jacksonville, but the other team's getting the 5.
Well, I think both Miami and Buffalo are going to make the playoffs.
I agree with that. It's just one's going to be the 5 seed, the other's going to get the home game.
Yeah, the other one's going to be either the 2 seed or the 3 seed. But I think the other problem with Buffalo in this game was they were still celebrating that win last week against Miami. You got to be able to put those behind you and stay focused on your next opponent. And I think they just took Jacksonville a little too lightly.
I don't think that's correct, though. So Vegas odds right now, this is on Caesar Sports, for the Super Bowl, they have Miami at 10-1, and they have Miami at 4.5 to 1 to win the conference, to make the Super Bowl.
What's Buffalo's odds?
9, they're right above Miami at 9-1 and plus 430.
Okay.
So if anyone doesn't know what it is, quick recap. If it's plus 400, it's 4-1 odds. So it's $4.30. So if you bet 100, you get 430 back.
Right. Right. Yeah, Buffalo, they fought hard toward the end, but Jacksonville was just too much in control of this game, and Jacksonville found their rhythm offensively. I think that was the thing that I was really questioning because the last couple of games, their offense really hasn't done it. You
Yeah.
know, look, I'll be honest, and I think I told you this. I sometimes feel Jacksonville should have beat Kansas City in week
Yeah,
two.
do you right now they have KC at 5.5 to win the Super Bowl and 3-1 to make it out. Other than them being the reigning champs, do you think they should be the top guys in the AFC?
Who? Jacksonville
No, Kansas City.
or City? I mean, they're the team you're gonna have to. They're the team you're gonna have to take down if you want to get anywhere in the AFC. But I have two problems with Kansas City. One, they don't have another pass catcher outside of Travis Kelsey, and when Travis Kelsey shut down and he's not there, who's that one guy you can depend on?
Yeah, you're not throwing it to stone hands.
Right.
No,
Um.
no, they're relying on Pachenko. They're going old Rutgers. They're running the ball.
Yeah, but okay. And then when teams load the box up to take him away,
Yeah. No, that's the
then
thing.
who?
You're going to have honestly, what you should do is start taking McKinney and putting him out in the slot and letting him run routes.
Yeah.
Which is like unheard of nowadays, but like take the running backs and put them in the slot.
Yeah, because that creates mismatches.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing, though. Okay, Marquez Valdez Scantling, yeah, he had that great game in the AFC Championship, but he's not a guy that's going to consistently put together a stretch of good games, right? Kadarius Toney, like you just called him, Stone Hands.
Yep.
You don't know what you're gonna get from him, right? Um, Sky Moore, I think they're trying to incorporate him a little bit more into the scheme, but I mean, they were able to be successful last year without Tyreek Hill. I mean, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Trying to, I mean, yeah, Mahomes won the MVP. Tyreek Hill had one of his better seasons. And Kansas City's defense isn't all that great to me. Outside of Chris Jones and Nick Bolton, they don't have guys who can come in the box and make plays. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Ronnie. The Chiefs missed Tyrann Matthew. They should have never let him walk.
No, and you've seen it live, but you see it. Their defense is shallow.
It is. It's very shallow. It's very shallow. So they're gonna be something to watch. I don't know. The AFC is kind of weird this year because everybody that we thought would be dominant, they haven't been. Cincinnati, I mean, they're a shell of themselves, right?
Right? Yeah. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? Like, cause that's
Right.
the thing. Because you have, and then the Rams are starting to show life again.
Yeah, but that's the NFC. But I'm looking at the AFC. Like,
But I'm saying both
awful.
sides. Like, you look at both sides. Like, there's teams that you're like, oh, this is gonna be this. Listen, literally on the NFC, we thought it was just gonna be Philly, San Francisco, and now you got the Rams showing life, the Lions showing life. Like,
Yeah, because the Lions look really good. But speaking of the AFC, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. This is one of my favorite rivalries in the National Football League, right?
your first place Pittsburgh Steelers.
Can you say that again for the people?
Your first place Pittsburgh Steelers.
Look, that's not a typo. That's not him saying
With
it.
Kenny Pickett, by the way.
Now, okay. I want to get this out the way. I like Kenny Pickett. I liked him when he was playing for Pittsburgh, right? I really did. And I believe in Kenny.
Which one?
The University of Pittsburgh.
I was gonna say, it's like, which one? Because
You know what I meant.
He didn't leave
You know what I
stadiums. He never left stadiums.
He never left. He never left. It's the Steelers' offensive coordinator I don't trust.
Matt Canada. Literally. I wish I had the soundbite right now. I'd be hitting the South Park Blame Canada button.
Ooh, yeah, we might need to bring that in. um, he's hindering Kenny Pickett. He's holding him back. Um,
But then why? Here's the other thing, though. Here's what I don't understand. How is he holding him back now, but yet in preseason he looked unstoppable?
cause man, you're playing against
But
the
I'm not. No, no. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about how he was playing the game. How not reckless, but how wide off he was playing the game. So he was dropping back, passing into tight windows, running the ball out of the backfield. He had a. I mean, yeah, it's the preseason, but no one has a perfect passer rating in the preseason. He had two of them.
yeah, yeah.
So what's he doing in the preseason? What's Matt Canada doing in the preseason with him that's not translating to the regular season with him?
I think they're trying to put everything on Kenny Pickett. Um, and I know it may sound cliche because I've said that with a lot of quarterbacks, right? But you know, he's a young quarterback. And remember when Roethlisberger was in his second year? Yeah, he would make big throws when the opportunity presented itself. But what's the Steelers' mantra? Running the football, playing downhill, and playing good defense. That's it, right? And it just seems like after Ben and Antonio Brown, when he was sane, um, it's kind of gone downhill from there. I think the Steelers feel that they can duplicate what they did with Roethlisberger and Brown and all those receivers. Nah, run the football. Use Najee Harris. You haven't had a franchise back in years. You know, run the football. Um, they won that game yesterday, 17-10. Baltimore had that game won. However, Lamar Jackson lost in that game. A lot of people aren't gonna like me saying that because you know anytime I say something about Lamar, I'm labeled as a hater. You know, but Lamar, looking at the numbers, Lamar was 22 of 38 for 236 yards passing, no touchdowns and one interception. He was sacked 4 times. The Ravens' offensive line was toilet paper soft, Ronnie.
Oh yeah, not even,
Gus
no two
Edwards,
ply. They were 10 ply.
yeah. Gus Edwards was 12 rushes for 48 yards. Lamar Jackson was your second leading rusher. Zay Flowers made a couple of nice catches. And Mark Andrews did what Mark Andrews does, right? I thought the Ravens' offense was better than this. Because that interception that Lamar threw, that was all on Lamar. And I just want to know what Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken was thinking. Because why would you have Odell lined up wide thinking he's a possession receiver? Ronnie, you've been watching football a long time too. Date back to when Odell came into the league, right?
Yeah.
Name a time when you ever saw Odell as a possession receiver.
Oh, never.
He's more of a slasher.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's been a couple times with the Giants that he was a possession guy, but that's few and far between.
Right, right. And I mean, Joey Porter Jr., yes, that's the son of the former Steelers linebacker, Joey Porter. Made that interception, and that just kind of gave the Steelers new life. But that pass that Kenny Pickett threw to George Pickens, that's probably the best pass Kenny Pickett's thrown all year.
Yeah.
It was one-on-one with Marlon Humphrey. We already know the Ravens have problems in the secondary. And the Steelers capitalized on that. And T.J. Watt, this defense for the Steelers is night and day. With T.J. Watt and without him. Without him, they look lost. But with him, I think they're one of the 2 or 3 best units in all of football. This is a big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you know anything about this rivalry, these teams hate each other. The coaches will throw jabs at one another. I remember the days when Terrell Suggs, or as he's known as T-Sizzle, a ball so hard university. You know, he would wear a shirt with a raven throwing the middle finger at the Steelers. It's an intense rivalry. It's physical. And that was my type of football game. Low scoring, hard hitting, both defenses and special teams really making an impact. Ronnie, you want to say that again about who's in first place in the AFC North?
That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, Now the New York Giants. I promised my guy Gerald that I would say this about him because he and I were talking last week, and he's a Giants fan through and through. Bleeds Big Blue. The Giants last week just absolutely looked like crap, right? What'd they give up? 11 sacks to the Seattle Seahawks?
10 on Jones, 1 on on Tyrod.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. And he just said, look, Daniel Jones wasn't worth the money, which he wasn't, and we need another quarterback, which he's not wrong about. Because the Giants got bullied yesterday by
you know
my...
what though? Do they need another quarterback to light a fire under Daniel Jones, I think.
No, I think they need another quarterback, period. They need a guy who can come in and just kind of give the entire offense a spark, because you know what's coming. There's no type of innovation or creativity with this offense. And what have I always told you? With a new head coach, they're going to want their own quarterback.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy got Justin Fields, right?
Even though
who's
he
another
could
one?
even though he could have kept his other quarterback.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I can't say that though. You know what? I can't say that because Fields looked unbelievable against Washington.
Yeah, he did. Like Magic Johnson couldn't even come out there.
Dude, that was embarrassing. The cook was ready to cook himself something to eat because he was ready to leave.
Right. The Giants. If I were the Giants, I would have fixed up that offensive line before I gave Daniel Jones all that money. Like, yeah, in Daniel's defense, yeah, he looked good last year. 15 touchdowns, which isn't bad compared to how he's looked the previous years, right? They need a guy that can move the pocket, because that's the trend now. Quarterbacks who can move the pocket somehow, some way, and he just almost looks like a statue back there. And my issue with the New York Giants is they snuck up on teams last year.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, they never started games early and pulled away. They always found themselves coming from behind.
They were Miami. They were Minnesota.
Dallas, because the Giants want to combine 0-5 against Philly and Dallas last year. Dallas beat them twice, and Philly beat them 3 times, once in the playoffs included. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And then you going on your rant about Evan Neal, like, Evan Neal shouldn't have said that. Play better, and maybe they'll cheer for you.
Well, you know what? It clear as day shows, because you gave up another 7 sacks today.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean. But yeah, it's just not working out for the Giants right now. They were punched in the mouth yesterday. They lost that game by a score of
16-31.
31-16, and Daniel Jones actually got hurt.
Yeah, neck injury.
It's a neck injury.
Would not be shocked if he's out next week.
Yeah. How about the Detroit Lions? They're 4-1.
Yeah.
They got everything they can handle from the Carolina Panthers, kind of. But yeah, they're 4-1. I like their philosophy. Run the football, stop the run, and all Jared Goff, that is, all Jared has to do is just control things. That's it. They don't need him to try and take games over, or they don't need him to be the guy that they thought he was going to be under Jeff Fisher. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
The New England Patriots, where do you go from here? Because they do not look good right now.
Do you trade Jones off? Do you trade Jones off to try to get a good quarterback in the draft this year?
Um, no, it seems like they have faith in Mac Jones. I
They
mean,
benched him. They benched him.
yeah, yeah. However, look, I think Mac is still trying to be his own guy because look who he came after.
Yeah, but I mean, still, if I would understand that, if you weren't going to be that team, like the defense is not helping Mac Jones at all.
No, they're not, and they haven't put much around him. Like Belichick, to me, was he's still trying to use the same approach he did with Brady with Mac Jones, and it's not working. Like, come on, Tom Brady is one of a kind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the worst I think I've ever seen the Patriots look. Yeah, like I'm speechless talking about it. You lose 38-3 last week. You lose 34-0 yesterday. Like if there were ever a get right game for the Saints, it was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
The Saints are in the driver's seat. They're 3-2. They made Derek Carr pretty much look like Drew Brees. Alvin Kamara got a touchdown. Michael Thomas, 4 receptions, 65 yards. Here's what it is with New England. Their defense is overworked, and their special teams is overworked. Belichick implements that old school game plan, which is run the football, right? Run the ball, play good defense, and win the game on special teams. Mm-hmm. Nah, you're going to have to be able to hit a pass in the air.
But right now, would you rather have a guy like Bailey Zappi running that offense?
Well, it seemed like last year when they started Bailey Zappi that he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, look, we were talking about this the other day on the Prime last week. One guy on the panel said it may be time to put Bill Belichick in the front office permanently.
Just can him as a coach, but keep him in as the GM.
Yeah, because I think he is the GM already. Yep. And get a younger coach. Well, maybe even if it's Bill O'Brien.
Well, how about? I mean, depends on what they're gonna do with Rivera, but what about someone like Bieniemy?
Yeah, I can see it.
Because he's got that Belichick mentality.
Yeah, because he's older. He's old school. Yeah, because someone wanted to tell me that there's a red flag with Eric B as a head coach. I'm like, no, there's not. He's like, yeah, he's too hard on his players. I'm like, see, you never played.
When the hell was football a soft sport?
Right, because players were complaining about Eric being a little too hard. Nah, he's from the old school. Like I played for coaches like Eric B.
I played for a coach that used to play with Lee Corso.
And how did he say Corso was?
Corso was a hard ass. No, I mean not coached by Corso. Played with Corso.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Like not coached by him, played with him.
Yeah.
Even at 90, dude, he was a hard ass to everybody. Thank God, even though I was defense, thank God I was not a cornerback because he was the cornerback coach.
Right.
And he wanted every hit. He wanted somebody, quote unquote, taken out.
Yeah. Look, there's no red flags with Eric Bieniemy. He's an old school guy, and his approach is different. I think everybody expects these players to be friends with their coaches. Nah, I don't want to do that. I want to learn from you.
You can be friends with them. You can be friends with them after the Super Bowl,
or in the off season.
Hence why I said the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I get. We sometimes go through those waves of coaches. I remember one time defensive coaches were in. Then now it's been young offensive minded guys. Now it's offensive minded guys. Or here's another one from New England. Why not Brian Flores?
Yeah. Well, don't be shocked if McDaniels comes back,
God, I hope not.
because he's right now top of that list to get fired from Vegas if Vegas keeps playing the way they play.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people kind of painted that picture with Josh McDaniels being the heir apparent to Bill Belichick. So I could see it, but I don't know. I don't trust Josh McDaniels as a coach, especially what he did with the Indianapolis Colts all those years ago.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
straight up quit, like get hired, get
Hey, Bill
everybody in,
Belichick
and then
did that.
yeah.
Belichick did that with the Jets.
Don't
I
remind me.
remember that.
Don't remind me.
I remember that. Yeah. Sorry to bring up
Yeah, I know.
nightmares,
Right?
but look.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's another issue I have with another game: the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Um, See what happens when you try to get too cute, because the Titans had a 4-1 situation. You have arguably one of the 2 or 3 best running backs in the National Football League, right? And Derrick Henry, and you try to bounce it outside with him, run up the middle. And the Colts were ready for it, and they stopped them. They end up winning the game, 23-16. But I think my biggest takeaway from this game was Anthony Richardson. Hasn't finished the game again. This kid has to protect himself because he's playing with too much reckless abandon, and playing with reckless abandon is going to get him hurt, and it's going to get him put in really bad situations, because I don't want to see him end up like another Roethlisberger.
No, but but the other thing that bothers me too is these refs have to stop. These refs and umpires have to stop playing favorites.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a foul, you need to call said foul. If someone gets hit in the head, no matter if it's a Tom Brady, a Patrick Mahomes, or a Richardson, you need to throw the flag. There can't be no Steph Curry moments in this game in football.
Right.
Where, someone grazes Steph Curry, it's a foul. There may be superstars, but the superstars get born because of hard-nosed play.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing questionable play calling. You know, we saw it in Oklahoma and Texas with Texas at the 1-yard line, 4th and goal. They tried throwing that screen pass, and they still couldn't punch the ball in. You know, like, take the points, because you're not always guaranteed to convert. That's not going to always be the case, and I wish people really understood that narrative. Yeah, it's definitely been a wild week with week 5. We already touched on Jacksonville winning their game. The Titans and Colts. The Colts won that game 23-16. Patriots get punched in the mouth 34-0. The Ravens, kind of showing flashes of the Ravens from last year and blowing a lead. They were in control for most of that game. What about the Chicago Bears?
I
Finally
think I
won a game.
The question is though, is this the team that you expect?
I don't know what to expect from the Bears, and I'm just being completely honest here. I really don't, because they should have won that game last week against Denver.
Yeah.
There's no excuse, because you look at, they were doing everything right. Running the ball, Fields was in control, and then they just got away from what was working for them. Like, nah, it's not going to work that way. Justin Fields has thrown 8 touchdown passes in his last 2 games. The Bears won that game on Thursday night, 40-20. Justin Fields, 15 of 29, 282 yards passing, 4 touchdown passes. He was sacked 3 times. DJ Moore, 8 receptions, 230 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns. In other words, the Washington Commanders made DJ Moore look like the second coming of Randy Moss.
There's another player on there that no one's paying attention to.
Who, Komet?
Yes.
What about him?
That kid is going to be their number one. How many years does Moore have left?
I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to look up.
I'll look at it. I'll do my producing job.
Okay.
He's got, after this, 2 more years. So Komet, he'll probably, I don't think they're going to be able to sign both of them unless they give Komet a freaking extension.
Yeah.
Komet will be the number one of this team. This kid is really good, and he kind of just is quiet. He's always quiet, but yet he'll get 15 catches. Or not 15, like he'll get like 15 in 2 games. He'll get 8 and 7. He'll get like a 7. He'll go for like 7 and 2 in like 7 and like 110.
Yeah. And that's the one guy that Justin's been very comfortable with. Yeah, I could see it, but I like that connection between Fields and DJ Moore. I do. Hopefully I can see more of it. Ronnie, anything else you want to add to what else caught your eye in the NFL?
Yeah, there's actually one thing I want to do. I went back and watched. I kind of started looking into picking up the All-22s.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jet Bronco game. Can someone tell the Sierra's husband to actually learn how to frickin' slide? He's gonna get killed.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to slide feet first. Isn't this the same guy that got drafted by the fucking Yankees?
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't he a former baseball player?
How do you not know how to slide? He's going shoulder first, which guess what? Anyone that sees that, look at their chops because I get to hit you.
Yeah. You're making yourself a glutton for punishment.
And he's down. Everyone's like, oh, throw the flag. I go, he's not sliding feet first. He's going to take a forearm to the back of the head.
Right. And it'll be legal.
Can someone tell this man to slide? Because, dude, the All-22s or some, NFL Plus has the All-22s up.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, so that's, you want to really focus in on what is going on. Dude, you would love the All-22s. Because it focuses on every team. It would focus on every player on the field.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. You're going to have to set that up.
Yeah, because
I'm definitely have to check it out.
It's really good. But other than that, that's really it.
Yeah, now, I was given some questions. The first one comes from Anthony Farrelly. What's going on, Anthony? What do you think switched the last 2 games for Justin Fields? He's more confident in his passes. And they've simplified the playbook for him. They're opening up the playbook. They're letting him move the pocket, and he looks more comfortable. I mean, he's thrown 8 touchdowns combined in the last 2 games. That's what I think switched for him. Like, Getsy is catering to his skill set. Then the second question comes from Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey asks, is Bears OC Luke Getsy letting quarterback Justin Fields play his game to his strengths now, thus leading to his vast improvement and possibly solidifying his position as the guy? Well, we have to see more. These are 2 games. Like, if he can do this in the next 4 or 5 games, okay, maybe we could label him the guy. But, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's playing him to his strengths, and he's catering to his skill set, as I said in the question before. Those are the questions I have. Ronnie, let's preview Monday Night Football.
Before we do, I actually have some news on Richardson.
Let me hear it.
Shoulder injury in week 5, x-rays report negative.
Okay, well, that's a good sign, but he still has to play smart.
I agree with that, but him getting out early and that just the injury report came through.
Yeah, okay. Let's preview Monday Night Football before we wrap this thing up. Green Bay Packers, Las Vegas Raiders.
Hold your
Dev-
nose, boys. This is gonna be ugly.
Devontae Adams is playing the Packers for the first time since he got traded. Um, I'm still trying to get a feel for both these teams. Like Jordan Love, I think he's shown flashes and potential of being good. But what have I been saying? Build this offense around Aaron Jones. Okay? Like don't let him be the focal point of this offense because that's going to take tremendous amounts of pressure off of Jordan. The Raiders don't play defense. Devontae Adams has been great. I think he's really shown you he's not that product of the quarterback that people like to label him as. Because everybody thought he was just that guy with Aaron, but nah, he's done it with Aiden O'Connell. He's done it with what was the other quarterback that they had last year? He played for New England. He was Brady's backup.
Oh God, yeah, because he was also on Indy.
You know who I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
I gotta look this up because this is gonna bother me now. Let me see. Oh God, this is gonna bother me. Hold on, let me see. I'm looking it up. And you know who it is too, because once I say
yeah,
his
it's
name,
not Hoyer. It's
nah, it was a quarterback.
Oh, Hoyer was a quarterback.
Nah, but it was someone else.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying Jared Stidham.
There we go. Yeah, he was catching passes from him.
Oh no, and Jacoby Brissett.
Was Brissett there last year?
Not no. He was there 2 years ago, but then he was over in
Indy.
Indy.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be a low scoring game. I like the Packers. I say 20-14. I don't think a lot of scoring is going to take place in this game.
So Vegas right now, and Vegas literally has Vegas as 2-point favorites at home.
Mm-hmm.
So if you play this on a neutral, Green Bay would be favored by 1. So it's pretty much a pick 'em.
I'm taking the Packers.
I would say over under. If you're saying it's going to be a low scoring game, take under 45.5. Take the money line if that's the case. It's plus 110, so you're actually getting money back. But on top of that, I would also round that in with Jordan Love passing yards over 231.
Yeah. Okay. You want to add a score prediction to this game?
21-14.
You copycat.
Oh no, you know what? All right, I'll go difference. 21-17.
All right. Yeah, I don't really see many points. I think
no. This is gonna go under 45.
Yeah, I think the first person to crack 20 points is gonna win.
This is gonna be. I'm gonna fall asleep at halftime.
Yeah, I can see it. Anything else you want to add, Ronnie? Are you ready to bring this thing home?
Let's bring it into the station.
Let's bring this thing home, guys. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. As I always like to say, we hope you enjoyed this episode just as much as we have fun recording it. How can you keep up with us? Log on to the site, which is thedailyblitz.blog, into your email address today and become a subscriber. So anything that gets posted on the site, you will receive it in your inbox. Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever you're calling it today at underscore at Daily Blitz underscore 61. Follow us on Instagram, new Instagram page at that, at the Daily Blitz 61. Still working on getting a fan page made on Facebook. As I always joke around and say, Facebook and your boy are like water and oil. We just don't mix. Keep up with me on the airwaves. Monday Evening Quarterback, of course, on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerdport Network. Please like, share, and subscribe, most importantly, so you can keep up with us. And in a few minutes, actually, I'm going to be jumping on Prime Sports World with David On Point, TJ Hopkins, and Israel Rivera. We're going to be recapping everything in Week 5 of the NFL. I'm on the Prime every Monday night and Tuesday night. Saturdays, what's on tap? Sunday, what's on tap? And then you can also catch me here and there on the Sports Cubicle on WCPT 820 AM in Chicago, Illinois. And if you need the link to listen to any of these shows, please let me know because I will gladly send those to you. As always, I love ending the show with a couple of shout outs. So a huge shout out to my beautiful family, my beautiful mother, my sister Taylor, and my dad. Love you three more than you guys could even think of. Thank you for always supporting me. I'm doing all of this for us. Remember, I work for the last name, not the first. My son, better known as my dog, Siebes. You heard him a couple times with me. I think he was probably just disagreeing with something that me and Ronnie had to say on the show. You know how dogs can be, man. They always got to put their 2 cents in, right? Um, my other siblings, Sean, Janice, Tanisha, my other big sister, Daphne, and then my two boys, Brandon and Keith. Brandon just actually had a birthday on Saturday, October 7th. So happy late birthday, man. I know I wish you well, but I wanted to do it on the airwaves as well. Some of the other people closest to me, Robert Butler, Jason Tyree, Kim L. Fryer, Candace Carter, Josh, his wife, Diana, and their three beautiful daughters, Tiffany, Natalie, and Madison, Kevin Cooper, and his wife, Lynn. And if you're a lover of all things baseball, please check out the Catch.blog. Kevin's going to have some great stuff up on the site. The MLB playoffs have officially kicked off. So go check that out. Incredible knowledge. You know, I've learned so much from him about the game of baseball. Rob Carter, Mike Griffin, Alex Bennett, Corey Harris, Deshaun Elliott, and Cole Johnson, better known as my co-analyst and coach, and our moderator D. Man, I'm so thankful for everybody I just shouted out. And if I didn't shout you out, that doesn't mean I don't love you and I don't appreciate you, but look, I'm on a time restriction, and if I were here shouting everybody out, we would be here for about an hour or two. But we all got things to do. Man, this has been another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. I'm moving my shoulders because I hear the music. There was a theme with the music. I want to see if you guys can catch up on it. Today is supposedly Christopher Columbus Day. Well, it is Columbus Day, but a lot of people don't celebrate that holiday. I played Biggie Smalls. Christopher Wallace was his real name. Played Biggie Smalls to open the show, and then after we came back from the phone line before we came on to talk football. This is Jay-Z and Frank Ocean. The name of the song is called Oceans, produced by Pharrell Williams, off the 2013 album Magna Carta, Holy Grail. Enjoy it. The only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace. I don't even like Washingtons in my pocket. I will